today we're so glad that everybody could join our the BIO International Convention IDO Call, the International Delegation Organizers. Many of you are. Some of you also have invited some other guests to join and to listen into the call, so I will keep it fairly broad. We do have some time. We will have a series of these IDO calls leading up to the convention. So we're going to start today. First, what I'll do is I'm going to introduce Susanna Ling. She's the Vice President of Industry and Programs, Partnerships, Sales, and Sponsorship. I'm also going to introduce Mackensie Vernetti. She's also going to be speaking a little bit. She's going to be talking about the partnering and how best to take advantage of it. She is the Senior Director of Partnering. I'm also going to introduce Sydney Williams, and Sydney is part of our direct team in sales and sponsorship, and she does the manager of exhibitions. So she will be, and I'm sure most of you have already interacted with her in some shape or form to help out with your exhibitor planning and with the exhibits themselves. Here we go. So the agenda today is going to be the we're gonna run through this, and we are also going to you are also going to be able to find this presentation is going to be sitting in your calendar. If you look into the calendar which you joined, you will see that there's a link. If any of you don't have that link, you can just email me afterwards. I will provide everyone that's on this call with a copy of this presentation. I want to highlight the 2022 and how amazing 2022 was. We had more than 44,000 partnering meetings. We had 3,898 partnering companies, 51 participating countries, 25 average meetings per company, and 7,585 partnering delegates. What does this mean? So what it means is over the course of those 5 days, depending on how many people participated in those before and after events, we had 44,000 partnering meetings during that time period. That is an incredible amount of meetings that happened in such a short period of time. And that's with an average of 25 plus meetings per company. I'm not going to dive too much into the one-on-one partnering because we're going to touch on it later on, but just to give you some of the dates and numbers of how important the 2022 was coming out of COVID. COVID was, a difficult time for the whole industry, and we were able to really rally into 2022 with huge numbers, with a lot of people participating. There were several countries that weren't able to participate in 2022, but we were able to do it. And it was a huge convention. It was incredibly successful. Here are some more numbers to highlight. Within the 2022 convention numbers, we had more than 1,139 exhibitors, 103 domestic international pavilions, 64 countries participated, and more than 90 public officials. We anticipate bigger numbers this year. So that was more than 14,500 participants last year, and this year we anticipate having probably closer to our pre-pandemic highest numbers, which is going to be in the 16,000 range. I want to highlight a little bit of what the BIO statistics are in terms of the attendance. So what we can anticipate seeing, as you can see from these numbers, we have roughly 40% of this is C-level suites, and then the 16 to 38% that you see here, which makes up a little bit more than 50%, is going to be our directors, mid-level managers, vice presidents, general managers, partners, and managing directors. So as you can see, the numbers that we have of that upper level management, the decision makers for these companies and these organizations that are coming is quite significant. The industry breakdown, we get into really sort of all across the industry, and we really segment across the board. So this is what you can anticipate seeing for 2023. It is very much a year-on-year growth of these individuals and company sizes. You can also see that breakdown there. International convention, top attendance from the international delegation. So last year, we kind of broke these down. Now, a lot of you have received these presentations. I've added a little bit to this presentation today. We've gone through a lot of these individually with the international delegation organizers and the pavilion organizers. Many of you are on the call today. We've had many of these calls. I've gone through some of these, but just for those who haven't seen these slides, I will go through them, and I will try to be brief on going through those. So I broke these down into the regions as well as just the countries. Now, we do anticipate having a larger presence from Canada this year, and we also will have a larger delegation from China. China was not present last year, and Canada was limited in their presence last year, even though they still had 670. I think Shaylee is on this call. So thank you. We do appreciate it. And then Asia, we had about 1,600, and Europe, we had about 2,000 plus. And Asia, we actually anticipate even more this year from Korea. This is another highlight of the US attendees versus international attendees. We anticipate having a larger international presence this year than we did last year. We have some photos, so you can really get a sense of what the energy is on the floor. We have a lot of very interesting delegations that they come in. They participate with events. They participate with partnering, with networking. There's so many opportunities to really get on the floor, have conversations with people, make new introductions, have meetings, and really take advantage of also some of the fun activities that we do. We have some of those in a later slide, which I'll get to. Still talking about 2022. This is also important from our programming perspective, which I'm not going to get too into programming in this call, but we will in the future calls. We have about 133 sessions was last year. This year, we're already chalked up to have more than 140 sessions, so it's going to be even bigger. We also have many focus areas we're going to get into in the next slide. We're going to actually talk about the 2023 themes, not in the next slide, but 2 slides in. We're going to have 800 plus speakers. We're going to have some really incredible speakers coming out. We're going to have some very interesting keynotes, some very high level keynotes that are going to be coming out. We haven't made the announcement yet. Keep informed, check your emails. You're going to be getting some really interesting news on that front very shortly. Last year, we had 26 global innovation hubs. Global innovation hubs, we're going to get into that later on, but that is really for the regional development governmental organizations. And we are going to have that again this year. We're going to break those apart into 2 days, and we are going to have some really good news for those. So that is going to be wonderful, and we anticipate more than 26 this year. 260 company presentations. Again, we anticipate more of those company presentations this year. They are a great opportunity for companies to be able to present themselves, and it's also a great opportunity for the IDOs to be able to facilitate those companies into pushing them into company presentations where they are able to get on the stage and really get in front of some of their interesting partners that are interested to find out more about those. 43 Startup Stadiums finalists. We will most likely have our announcement of the Startup Stadium finalists probably in the beginning of April. So keep an eye on your emails for those. Again, here are some of these sessions. For people who haven't participated in BIO International Convention before, there are amazing sessions that happen with incredible speakers. Many of our sponsors come out. We have sponsors that come out, they speak on stage. We have some of the incredible scientists that are coming up with the innovative ideas. We have government officials that come out. Really, it's a mix of everyone from the industry, all of our leaders, to really be able to come together, talk about and showcase some of the incredible work that they've been doing all year long. These are our macro themes for 2023. Therapeutic frontiers, the business of biotech, regulatory and policy outlook, and human capital. So underneath those 4 macro themes, we are going to have all of those sessions are going to break out into various forms underneath them. So definitely keep track of the emails. You're going to have emails coming up very soon, announcing some of the sessions and announcing the sessions that were accepted, that were submitted at the end of last year. We're going to dive in later onto the some of the events that we have. So some of the fun activities, the fun networking activities. We have some pictures here from some of those from prior years. Last year we had really an incredible one. It was our Wednesday. The Wednesday event was really, it was on the aircraft carrier in San Diego. It was incredible. We had an amazing band that was playing, a big headliner. So everybody really had a great time there. It was definitely to be topped this year, I believe. 2023 international delegations attending. I put this together really to kind of showcase. This doesn't include everyone, but this showcases some of the international delegations. Many of you are on the call today. This call will be recorded and it will be sent out so that you can share this with your delegations. Networking receptions. This is what I highlighted before. We will have announcements coming up, but what you can't miss is definitely the Monday evening welcome reception. This is really sort of the kickoff. Everybody gets together. It's a great networking event for everyone. And then we have the Wednesday evening party on the Midway, which was last year. This year, we still are going to announce it, but I can assure you it will be a wonderful, wonderful must-see event. Thursday afternoon, we will have the closing happy hour where everybody gives a chance for additional networking and to say goodbye to everyone and all of our friends from the event. Startup Stadium, we have already finalized that, so we will be making an announcement very shortly on who are our finalists for Startup Stadium. Global Innovation Hubs. This one, we jumped into it. We will be sending out an application to all of the relevant parties. Anyone who is a government entity that took a pavilion will have the opportunity to put in an application, along with our regional government offices that are supporting the external investment. We will be offering that as the application will open soon. These are 13-minute presentations. They mirror the company presentations, but these are specifically for those regional trade, regional investment promotion, local trade associations. And there is no fee to participate in this. So applications will be coming out. We'll send that out. If anybody has questions, you can always email me. I will have my contact information at the bottom of this for anybody who does not have it. The pavilion space in 2023, we have a wonderful, wonderful floor plan that is coming up. We have the business forum, which you can see at the bottom of the map. And then we will have the pavilions and exhibitor space that is going to be above that. So what you're going to see is a lot of flow of traffic between the business forum and up through the corridors. And we made sure that we kept these corridors nice and wide for everyone so that everybody can really move freely up and down through the show floor. And I can assure you that there's not going to be any spaces where you won't find people. People will be spread out everywhere. Now, if you pull your eyes over to the right-hand side over here, you can see that there is a escalator right here and an escalator right here. So these are going to be the ways where most of the traffic will just come in and sort of disperse in between all of this space. So these are going to be your main entrances. There's going to be a BIO pavilion, which is here. So any questions you have, if you're ready to take a look at your space for 2024, which we are already in the process of assigning based on your points, based on the prior participation, We can answer all those questions in BIO. We're going to have all of the other areas of BIO are also going to be present there with our PR team. The partnering team will be there. So everybody will be here to answer some questions. And then we will also have inside of the business forum, we'll have the partnering office itself. And then I'll let Mackensie talk about that later on. This is another sort of just an overview of Boston, showing even the outside, sort of where the shuttles and transports are going to be, where the walk-ins will be. There'll be a lot of information here. This is just a preliminary map. You will get a more advanced map as we come closer to the convention. Now, we're going to talk about pavilions, build-outs, handling questions, and target dates. All of this is going to be in here. This is all stuff that you can access from your exhibitor dashboard. Now, the important thing is that we need to make sure that once we have everyone contracted and we've gotten through that process, then you get access to your exhibitor dashboard. Now, I'm gonna have Sydney jump in here.
Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm going to share my screen and go over the exhibitor dashboard. So this is the landing page for the dashboard. I know you guys have all logged into this. The exhibitor service kit tile is where you'll find most of the information that you'll need for the show. With this tile, I will note that these deadlines here on the landing page are for Freeman only. If you click the menu in the upper left-hand corner and navigate to show information, you can see it's a link for the exhibitor services manual. This exhibitor services manual link will allow you to not only download the entire manual, but download specific forms as you need them. We're just going to generally go over each tab just to show you where things are found. General information is most of the information produced by BIO for the show, to include any scheduling, any information about move-in and move-out, targeted floor plans, as well as BIO rules and regulations. I do want to call out that you will be needing, if you are a pavilion, to send in your exhibit for exhibit display approval, and that information is also listed here under exhibit display guidelines. Going down a little bit, you have some additional information here for exhibitor booth partnering and registration. So if you have any outlying questions, please click here to get some additional information on meeting point labeling, as well as exhibitor booth partnering. I would also like to call out the Freeman decorating and booth rental. This is where you would be able to get your furnishing orders, as well as any of your flooring order. Labor is right below, but that is also handled by Freeman. They also have an in-booth graphics option. So if you need additional graphics, these are smaller graphics, poster board graphics, things that you could use on tabletops, and as well as larger graphics, but with this link, it's for smaller graphics. Exhibit freight is listed here as well, and please note that the show site shipping labels are here, advanced warehouse shipping labels are here, and outbound shipping labels for the teardown. Now, just a quick highlight, because I know that we are moving in directly after a holiday. United States holiday for Memorial Day is on May 31st. So all shipping will cease on that day. So make sure that your items either arrive prior to the 31st or after the 31st to ensure that someone is there to retrieve your shippable items. The Boston Convention Center holds the exclusive contract for all orders that include electrical services, telephone services, internet and technical services, as well as security services and rigging services. So under this tab for the BCEC Exhibitor Ordering Guide, you can find the forms for all of those services. Additionally, Boston Convention Center also holds the sole rights to food and beverage. So in the event that you would like to have coffee, snacks, or any sort of food and beverage service in your exhibit booth, please use the food and beverage ordering information. Also, within this same packet for food and beverage ordering information, if you scroll to the very last page, we have some contact info for the Boston Convention Center. In the event that you plan on bringing items that are perishable and known for your country, and you're going to bring them in, please contact the Boston Convention Center so they can talk to you about how and what fees are associated with bringing in outside food items. Auxiliary services. These are all of the outlying companies that we work with for auxiliary services throughout the show. If you would like to have lead management or lead retrieval, you would use this form. Audio-visual ordering information is here. Plant and floral, photography, as well as booth cleaning form. Please keep in mind that if you're doing any sort of food or beverage services, you will need additional booth cleaning for porter service so that they can take away your trash systematically throughout the day. If you're having trouble because of your own system limitations, try downloading the forms that you need individually rather than the whole exhibitor service manual. The full exhibitor service manual is extremely large and can clog up your computer as well as your email, so just be careful with that. In addition to the exhibitor services kit, you also have a tile here for hospitality and in-booth events. So once again, if you are bringing coffee service, or you're doing a breakfast, or you're deciding to bring a cartoonist into your booth during the exhibitor reception on Tuesday, please let us know so we can help you to promote that event throughout all of BIO's offerings. Last but not least, the payment tile. Now, when you click on the payment tile, it will allow you to go through the full order and make your payment. If you click Bill Me, it will allow you to get emailed the W-9 needed for any ACH transactions. If you click the credit card payment option, it will ask you for your card information immediately on that screen. Okay. Did we have any questions about the exhibitor services portal? Thank you.
Oh, yes, Sydney, there's a question in the chat. It says, Jerome is asking, what are the time frames for getting catering in the pavilions?
For the pavilions, I believe the last date, let me check 1 second. I want to say it's in May, but I just want to make sure.
Sorry, my question was not very clear. I wanted to ask from which time in the morning we can have like breakfast, for instance, organized on the pavilion.
Yes, so you can have breakfast organized at any time that the exhibit hall is open. Anything outside of the exhibit hall hours would have to be done in an additional space, and you can do that through the affiliate events option as well.
Okay, so what are the opening times? I'm not sure I have seen that on the website.
Not a problem. 1 second. Marcel, do you mind if I share my screen one more time?
Sure, absolutely.
So the general show information is going to be where you get the majority of the best information you're going to get for this. The reason I say that is because it lists everything, right? So you have all of your contractor, all of that type of stuff, as well as their email address here. Now, in that same vein, when you go to the quick facts and general information, this is another really great one if you're just looking for information very quickly. So here we have the exhibitor move-in starting from 8 a.m. on the 31st, going all the way until Sunday, June 4th at 7 p.m. We will allow light move-in on Monday morning, but the exhibition hall hours on Monday start at 12 noon to 6:30. And then for the rest of the week, it's from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Thursday, we close a little bit early so that we can have the closing happy hour that Marcel talked about right after the exhibit hall closes. And just to just go a little bit further. This form, if you're looking for something that you can keep handy just for your planning, dates, and guidelines, this is the best one to have on your laptop or in your folder. It does have the move in and move out dates as we alluded to, but it also has a lot of different stuff as far as shipping address. It has the dates that you're able to ship to Freeman as well as show site. And it also lists some additional information if you need to contact Freeman for show-to-show transit in the event like you're doing a BIO and then you're doing another trade show directly after BIO. Freeman can assist you with transporting your items from BIO to the secondary show as well.
Very clear, thank you. Meaning that for instance, a breakfast from 9 to 10 a.m., we won't be able to get any catering, or can we then find a outside solution, like bring from another service provider?
Well, you wouldn't be able to do it on the show floor. So you have to do any activities on the show floor within the times that the show floor is open. Although we do have affiliate events that are throughout our 29 contracted hotels where you could get a sign up for affiliate space to have a breakfast and or lunch or cocktail hour outside of those hours of the exhibit hall.
Thank you, Sydney. Very much appreciated. And if anybody has additional questions for Sydney, we can cover those at the end of the presentation, or just drop them into your chat and Sydney can just answer those questions for you while we are going through the rest of the presentation. The registration rates. So these are the published registration rates, and we're going to kind of dive in the next slide. We're going to dive into the registration pass types. What's important about looking at this grid is really understanding what these different rates do and what the access allows you to have for these different rates. So now we have the early bird registration rates are ending on the 16th. So that is a couple more days to put in for that early bird rates, and these are the lowest rates that are going to be available. Obviously, you know, the BIO member rate is always going to be the lowest member rate. So what we encourage everyone to do is to apply for membership. If it is something that that you can take advantage of as an organization, absolutely take advantage of the BIO membership. It is the lowest rate. It comes with a lot of benefits, and I actually have a slide towards the end of this presentation to talk about BIO membership. So what I wanted to highlight within this is not just the BIO member rate, but also that we have that early bird rate, but also now we're going to get into what are the premier access, the general access, and exhibition access. We also have the company presentation rates that are on there as well. You can find that on your website, on our website, I'm sorry. So I put this together because I really, you know, I know that there was a lot of sort of questions surrounding what were the registration types and what do they have? What are the differences? So what I wanted to highlight first is the Premier Access. Premier Access is really for those people who really want to get into the networking. They want to network. They want to really hyper meet as many individuals as possible in the industry. They also want to go to the company presentations. They want to go to the events in the evenings, the hospitality reception, and then really take advantage of the business partnering, for the one-on-one business partnering. So Premier Access is the only access pass that allows you to go to the business forum. This is that section that was at the bottom where all of those networking meetings are happening. So this is important to understand that differentiation. You also have, I'm going to skip over to the general. I'm going to skip over general and go straight to the exhibitor booth partnering. So the difference between Premier Access and exhibitor booth partnering, which I know a lot of you are taking advantage of because you are pavilions, the exhibitor booth partnering allows you to access that partnering system, not the business forum, but you get to access that software of the one-on-one partnering. And so what this allows you to do is to really have that matching, but have it in booth so that the meetings will come to you at the booth in which you are participating under that pavilion. So this is an important differentiation between those two sides. Now, the one thing that you don't get to have access to, it is basically like an exhibitor booth pass, which allows you to have that exhibitor pass. But what it does is it allows you to partner in the system, but it doesn't give access to the welcome reception, the Wednesday night reception, and it also does not give access to the sessions that are happening. So again, that's the difference between that premier access and that exhibitor booth partnering. And we're actually going to get into that later on when we get into the partnering. But the general access, this is important as well, because then a lot of people, they really want to be on the show floor, they want to network, but at the same time, they want to go see some of the receptions in the evenings, and they also want to go see some of the main stage programming. They want to see the keynote speech, they want to see the sessions and the super sessions. So this is also a really great way to participate without the actual partnering, but with all of the other opportunities that come with it. So that is the general access. What's important also to highlight is that exhibitor booth is for the pavilions and the exhibitors to make sure that they have that access to the early setup and closing, so that they are able to come in early in the morning and leave later on in the afternoon after everyone has already left, in case they need to do anything within the booth, setups and breakdowns. So these are the passes that anyone that is participating in the actual setup of the booth or the maintenance of the booth, they would have to have that. There's also invite a customer that you can do through the pavilion and through your exhibitor portal. And so what that allows you to do is invite customers who might be interested to just check out the show floor, meet with you, and have a meeting on the show floor. So these are really good. Anybody who has a pavilion, you have access to these as well. The exhibitor pass, that is the same as an exhibitor booth pass, except it doesn't allow you to come in early or late. Additionally, there's one thing that I put on here that we didn't really have on here before. We had the link, but we never really put it into a sort of chart to explain those benefits, was the IPO, International Public Officials. So now the public officials, they will have access to basically everything but the partnering system. So any of your officials that are coming, and I'm actually going to get into that later into a slide, into the next slide, I believe, and international public officials. So anyone who is, any ministers that are coming, ambassadors that are coming, any federal level government employees who are interested in attending, we will provide a complimentary pass. So we just need for either them or their handlers or their office to fill out the link that is on here, which is the International Public Official Registration link. And then we will get that information in and we will process those as they come in. If there are public officials that are coming, I request that everybody send me an email so that I can make sure that we are looping in the correct people internally at BIO to make sure that they have full access and the potential to speak if they would like to. I will be introducing them to the international policy team. They will be the ones that under Hillary will be the one that will be trying to find that place in some of these sessions. I will introduce our partnering team. Mackensie is on the line. So Mackensie Vernetti, I will stop sharing my screen.
Oh no,
or
you can keep up the slides.
I'll keep up the slides? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll
Just let me
go
know when to
slides.
move forward.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to go a little bit over the partnering system. So just in general, what is partnering at BIO? Partnering is 30-minute business-to-business meetings that happen over 3.5 days at the BIO International Convention. These meetings are pre-arranged using the BIO 101 partnering system and take place in person on site at the Boston Convention Center in both the business forum and the exhibit floor. The partnering system does open in early April and scheduling will begin on May 15th. Okay, so did want to touch a bit on the two different types of partnering, but really the main thing you need to take note is that it's the same partnering system. You're meeting with the same people, the same contacts, the same companies. The difference comes down to where and when your meetings are scheduled. So by being a pavilion and participating in exhibit booth partnering, the meetings are coming to you. It's a really great way for you to bring the business to you quite literally and also increase the traffic to your space. So definitely take advantage of that. You're still able to meet with anyone who is otherwise partnering in the business forum, but they would just come to you. So it's really all the same partnering system. The only difference really is where those meetings are being scheduled. And then if any of you have been on site before, which I'm sure most of you have, the business forum is that separate area that's generally for people who don't have an exhibit booth. And that's where their meetings are largely held, unless they're meeting with you. Next slide, please. So just wanted to go over kind of the basics of the partnering system. There's really 5 main steps. So the first is fill out a detailed company and personal profile to increase your visibility within the system and make your company more easily searchable to potential partners and collaborators. The second is to input your calendar availability for meetings during partnering hours and keep that current. You do need to let us know when you're available to take meetings so we can schedule those for you. Then use our advanced search filters to target potential partners and send them customized meeting requests. And each company within the system has a message center where you manage all of your messages and accept and decline incoming requests. And then the 5th, which is kind of a bonus, is just to note that BIO schedules meetings for you. So those accepted meetings that have mutual availability, we start scheduling those on May 15th. And our scheduling algorithm really does all of the work. It matches you based on mutual availability and then also walk time. So you end up getting more meetings in the end and have to walk less between them. So that's really key for our business forum, attendees, because as part of a pavilion, most of your meetings will be right in the pavilion. So you're not going to have to walk that much, but at least this way, the business forum people that are coming to you might not have to walk as quickly from one meeting to the next, which is really, really nice and convenient. I think I have a question. No, there will not be a digital partnering option this year. All meetings are in person on site in the exhibit hall in the business forum. There is no deadline for companies to create their profile in the partnering system. Once we launch in early April, those who are registered will get their login information, and then they'll get login. If you register after that date, you get login information within one, it's usually within one business day. You can edit and update your profile at any time. There's really no deadline. System opens in early April, and then I have 2 webinars coming up. One is on April 5th, which is a convention preview and partnering basics. So anyone that isn't familiar with the partnering system will be going in and I'll be showing you soup to nuts, kind of the bare bones basics and how to get started. And then on May 3rd, we're going to have the advanced webinar where I'll go in and we'll talk about more advanced features, tips and tricks, and I'll talk about some on-site considerations as well, specific to the Boston Convention Center and how partnering will be administered on site. April 19th is a really key deadline for us when it comes to exhibitor booth partnering. That's really the deadline for you to have your number of meeting points submitted in Macro Show. So just know that our team works really hard on our end to make sure that all of the appropriate sharee companies are hooked up to those meetings in the back end so that when the scheduling starts in May, all of that stuff can run smoothly and those meetings can be scheduled. And then, as I said, scheduling begins on May 15th. And then one note about the webinars, while they are scheduled for a specific day and time, I would encourage you to register and for your delegations to register, because even if you can't attend at that time, we will send out the link to the recording to anyone who's registered for the webinars within a few days. So it's really convenient to have that in your inbox as soon as it becomes available. And both webinars are open to any participants. So if you're just curious, if you're not even registered for a convention yet, you can definitely attend those webinars completely free to get more information. And this is really our partnering resources, a lot of quick links here, but if you go to the regular convention website and go to the partner tab, all that information is there as well. But this is a really good reference point for you. As well as once you get access to the partnering system in early April, once you're registered there, we put all of our webinar information and tutorials on the homepage there as well for you to quickly access. And then just registering for partnering. So just to note that if you're registering for exhibitor booth partnering, so that your sharees are participating in the pavilion, they want to make sure to add that in Map Your Show.
Thank you, Mackensie. Very appreciative. And if anybody has any questions regarding partnering, please drop those into the chat or just send us an email afterwards. You can either send it to partnering@bio.org, or you can also just email me anytime.
Yep, Marcella, we do have one more question, and I think Sydney might be able to weigh in on this in terms of particulars of Map Your Show, but about the deadline for the number of meeting points. So as a pavilion, when you're setting up kind of your build out, you do need to note how many meeting points, specific meeting locations you're going to have in your pavilion. And you need to let us know that in Map Your Show so that my team can name them all and have them all set up in our system so that when we're scheduling meetings, they can be scheduled appropriately.
Diving back in, I wanted to quickly highlight, I know a lot of you have seen the sponsorship opportunities deck. This is really, if you kind of go over those links, we left them in there. We are about to close up our sponsorship opportunities. So if anyone is interested to participate in advertising, branding, potential sponsorship of thought leadership, or networking, maybe with the business forum, these are all things that you want to think about now. One of the things that I highly suggest to everyone, everybody's heard me say this before, one of the things that you really want to do is, in order to maximize the connections that you make, it's always good to have about 5 points of contact, 5 touch points prior to really having someone take interest in your brand or your company or your organization. And the way, one great way to do that is to really utilize the digital advertising that we have. We have some great digital advertising. We've got options from the bio news, from the podcasts. We've got options to connect with people via email. And these are all great ways to show your brand and show what it is that you're doing, highlight your innovative activities. So what I suggest is, if you have questions, reach out to me. We're closing up soon our opportunities that we have available. So take advantage of them. It's great to have those contacts before and after and during the convention. We have opportunities even with the app that everybody will be looking at the entire time. So these are opportunities that you can take advantage of. Please reach out, ask me if you have questions additionally for those. I want to just highlight a couple of things before we close up here, and I know that we're running up to time. We have the bio membership. So if anybody has questions about bio membership, reach out to me. We have discounts. We have purchasing discounts for those companies that take advantage of them. Please feel free to email me. I'll connect you with the membership team. I wanted to highlight also, we have Bio Impact was finally, it is on the books. It used to be World Congress. Some of you may be familiar with it. But I dropped a slide in here. I want everybody to take a look at this afterwards. This is for everyone, September 19th to the 20th in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is going to be a really nice event. It's all going to be about agriculture and environment, and it's really going to be focused. We're going to have partnering there, and we're going to have some really, really amazing programming. Already, that's in the works, so we anticipate having a really great show for that next in September. So keep that on your radar. And then we also have any questions that you have. My contact information is there. We have a great team here at BIO. We're working very hard to make sure that we answer all of the questions that you have. We know that there's always questions that are going to be floating that we need to answer. We do those as quickly as possible. If you ever have questions that you really are trying to figure out, feel free to email us, put time on my calendar. and we're happy to answer those questions. Now, before I wrap up, I would also like to suggest that everyone for their travel, for arrival and departure, we've got two quick notes. One, I suggest everybody arrive Saturday or even Friday. So it gives you, a couple days to really enjoy Boston. And we have some things that are going to be coming up. There's potential tours. So don't miss those really interesting things that are going to happen over the weekend. And then it gets you ready to go so that you start out your week and you're not jet lagged if you're coming from overseas. Departure, most people depart on Friday. So take advantage of that last happy hour and the last evening of Boston. Boston's a wonderful city, so much to do, and the weather is going to be spectacular. The second thing that I wanted to mention, just if anybody has any issues or questions regarding visas, please reach out to me. I know that some of the delegations are having visa questions. I have been sending out many emails regarding those. If anybody has any questions, please just send me an email. And my contact is here. I will send out this recording to everyone along with the deck. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. Otherwise, send me an email.
Thank you, Marcel. Just one last update, actually. This came up earlier in your presentation, the networking receptions. We do have the venues confirmed for the Monday welcome reception as well as the Wednesday event. So we will be having the welcome reception from 7 to 9 p.m. at Big Night Live. That's a really exciting venue that will be great to facilitate networking. Again, that will be on Monday, and more details to come for both this event as well as the Wednesday reception. That will also be from 7 to 9 at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. So we will be providing updates over email in the coming days and weeks. Receptions, those are for general access and premier access delegates only. So just wanted to highlight that again for both the Monday and Wednesday large networking events for general or premier access registrations. Thank you.
Thanks, Susanna. Appreciate that. And I think there was one question that I saw quickly. Can you confirm the location for BIO 2024? That will be in San Diego, California.
Yes, we will be alternating between San Diego and Boston for the next several years. There will be a few exceptions, but for the most part, you can plan on having alternate East and West Coast locations for these upcoming BIO International Conventions.
Thank you, everyone, for attending this first webinar that we're doing for our 2023. Don't miss the upcoming partnering webinars, and we will send you out emails, just making sure that everybody has information on those. And really feel free to message those out to your delegates, because those are a great way for everybody to really take advantage of the partnering and everything that comes with it, and to make sure that they have a very, very successful convention this year. So we're all super excited. We're excited to see everyone. Can't wait. And if anybody has questions, just please let me know.